CNN's attempts to reach Calhoun and Martise for comment have been unsuccessful. Neither man has made any public statements. Let me bring in Dr. Drew Pinsky, host of Dr. Drew on Call on HLN. And Dr. Drew, I mean, just listening to that sheriff, he says he's pissed off. I'm pissed off. And the thing is, when you think about, listen, I've been to Panama City Beach and I've been on spring break, but to think of a crowded beach, broad daylight, and this apparently happening and no one doing a darn thing, how is that possible?
Right, it's almost unthinkable, and yet if you've ever been down there during spring break, it starts to begin to make sense. I've been down there to try to speak to crowds down there, and I've looked across the kids and thought to myself, oh my goodness, all I see here is intoxicated alcoholics and sex addicts. That's all who's there, and every time you find an adverse outcome, you find alcohol, you find substances. This poor woman thinks she was drugged. I bet she was not. I bet it was strictly alcohol related. We do not raise our young people to understand that when somebody is incapacitated by alcohol, this woman should have been taken to an emergency room. She could have just as easily aspirated and died. Instead, she becomes the victim of a gang rape. It's unthinkable to happen in front of other people. Now, of course, we all know about a bystander effect.
That's my next question.
People are more likely. Well, but listen, this is more than the bystander effect. Bystander effect is you stand by. The more people around, the more you're likely to stand by and not help somebody. This is about something endemic in our culture, both in the spring break culture and on our college campuses, where we have institutionalized binge alcohol and hooking up culture. And at spring break, this is acted out, like as the sheriff said, more than he understood, more than he imagined. It's becoming normative, so these kids don't even understand they're engaging in criminal behavior when people are in a condition to not even be able to defend themselves.
And the fact that this young woman says she doesn't even remember that it happened. She saw the video surface on the news. She recognized her tattoos and said, my God, that was me.
Yes. That's right. And if you go to college campuses and you measure adverse outcomes, whether it is a sexually transmitted disease or an unwanted sexual contact or an injury, a fight, an accident, whatever it is, you always found alcohol, and you find binge alcohol more than anything else. And it is the whole hookup culture that is so indoctrinated that these kids, those that aren't necessarily addicts, alcoholics, sex addicts, which are people who are encouraged to spend out of control, the other kids have to consume enough alcohol to deal with their anxiety of just keeping pace with how unnatural and anxiety-provoking their social structures are. And then they go to spring break where this is just encouraged to act out in a way. There are rooms. I've been to those bars. There are rooms there where people are encouraged to do things just like what happened on that beach.
But the fact that she says she doesn't even remember that it happened, I hear you. You're saying you think it was just alcohol, but how, I don't want to say how is that possible, because I know it is. When you have too much, she thinks she was drugged. It happens all the time. It happens all the time when people do not remember. You're gang raped?
Listen, it's not just where they don't remember, Brooke. That happens all the time where they don't remember and they still appear to be walking around and having their faculties intact. What also happens all the time is people are completely incapacitated to the point that they can't move, and they don't remember. They're unconscious and they don't remember, and their peers don't take them to medical care. It's how people die as well of alcohol poisoning.